Hello, everybody. I am just waking up from an unexpected, about an hour-long nap in the hammock. I'm going to be very sad when it is no longer hammock weather. We finally got around to putting these up not very long ago at all, and it has been hugely cathartic for me to come outside early in the morning. It's really good for your health in general and your mood set in general, because anything that we do that's closer to the way we used to live before we created societies in little cardboard boxes for us to live in with fake lights and everything else, anything that's closer to nature and the natural way we used to do things is better. Getting light in your eyes first thing in the morning is really good to stop your circadian rhythm, start those natural anti-inflammatories and painkillers that we have. To do mood, to raise your mood and wake you up and make you feel more alert. Clean, fresh outdoor air. It's amazing how stuffy houses get, even if you don't think that they are. So breathing fresh air, seeing greenery. There's been scientific studies that survival rate of people with the same illnesses, the same issues in ICU departments, with the same statistics standing against them. The ones that tend to survive by like a big percentage, I forget the exact percentage, so I don't want to misquote, but by a big percentage, were the ones that could see greenery out their window. If they had no window, and it was nothing special out the window, just trees, just the ability to see trees through a window, by like 20 or 30%, it was a huge margin. Fresh, clean oxygen. I mean, there's air pollution, there's toxins everywhere, but you can't escape it. But it's really good for you to get outside, and if at all possible, barefoot, have some exposed skin, because it's important for sun in particular to get the cells in the back of your eyes to start that whole process with your mood and your circadian rhythm for anti-inflammatory and anti-pain properties and alertness for sleep disorders, etc., etc., etc. And also, we're kind of like plants. We don't make chlorophyll, but we can't absorb, neither can your cats or dogs, FYI, vitamin D and all of the light spectrum through a window pane. Only by being out in the sun can you expose yourself to all the spectrum of light that is a number of chemical, physiologic reactions, scientifically based physiologic reactions in our body that do important things. It allows important things to happen, because before we had these little cultures and lived in these little homemade boxes, homemade wooden boxes, well, it's artificial light, we would wake up to the daylight and sleep outdoors like an animal. That's how we were made. And so when we recreate that, bare feet on the ground, breathing fresh air, that's why when you sleep for a week, give it a week in a tent if you go camping. By the time the week is done, even if you were like not a morning person, dragging ass, excluding those with chronic illnesses, and you'd wake up at noon, you'd be up all night, give it a week of camping, and that morning sun will reset your circadian rhythm. The world spins on an axis on a daily cycle. and a yearly cycle. Our cells turn over in a cycle. Different organs are finally getting into Western medicine, understanding the long-held knowledge of Eastern medicine, that different organ systems operate at different times of night. The whole thing about waking up at like 3 a.m., it's your liver. I can't remember the whole thing, so I'm not going to spout it out, but different times of day, pains and symptoms, and different times of night signify issues with certain body parts. And they're coming to find out that that is also accurate, that they've done studies with patients and discovered that those that have recurrent awakenings at certain hours of the day, or these cluster of symptoms, there is even a better time of day to treat cancers, various specific cancers. There's a better time of day to treat them because the organ is more receptive than other times. So much old traditional knowledge that we got so far away from, it seems woo-woo. And it seems woo-woo what I'm talking about. But it's not. And the thing is that, you know, people get all up in arms about it because they've been invalidated and told they're not trying or they're at fault for their illness so many times. When we've been there, done that. We've tried magnetic bracelets and kale, and you wouldn't imagine the things that people have tried and to incorporate in their life. And you never ask a healthy person about their lifestyle. We just assume because they're healthy, they must be taking care of themselves. I personally know someone who basically lives on vodka, cigarettes, packs a day of cigarettes, and fast food. Probably hasn't seen a vegetable since they were 9. They literally, they don't drink water. They don't take vitamins. They don't take care of themselves. They don't do any kind of formal exercise. They're kind of a little bit of a couch potato, except for daily life admin and the occasional walk. You know, they're not a very active person, but they're almost 60. They've got all their hair. They're at a healthy weight, and they have no health problems or cognitive issues. They come from good genes. Come from really good genes. People in their family can climb flights of stairs and work on cars and do amazing physical feats relatively easily up into their 80s, and are very active into their 80s. There's no history of extreme diseases or anything in their family, and cognitive decline. People live to be about 100. It's not all genetics, but genetics load the gun, and then experiences and exposures, both within and without our control, from the minute we're fetuses in our mom's stomach. Her microbiome impacts our microbiome, which impacts us for the rest of our life. Regardless of what she ate during pregnancy, that also matters, but don't blame mama. You know, whatever microbiome she had at the given moment she got pregnant started you. That started your gut bacteria and all your stuff. And whether we were born vaginally or C-section, because they are just now learning that we need those. We live in symbiosis with a lot of different types of bacteria that are good and viruses that are good. We are symbiotic. We are actually made up of more bacterial DNA than we are human cells. Even our cells themselves, the mitochondria, the energy factory of the cell, the part that gives us life, that animates us in our own very cell, our human cell. Mitochondria are a very, very ancient, prehistoric, very ancient embedded bacteria. Think about that. The very thing that makes our cells, our human cell alive, is a bacteria. And think that bacteria, microbiome, and all that stuff does not matter. So, things within and without our control. Trauma that has happened to us, levels of stress, as we were growing up, and things, the environment we were put into that was beyond our control, inability to express emotions, all that trauma and stress has an impact within and without our control. And then the things we choose have a place as well. But everybody's kind of at their own learning curve of even realizing they have a choice, and depending on your background, you may not know you have a choice in your life. But environment shoots the gun, pulls the trigger. Your DNA is loaded with all sorts of possibilities of longevity. Like in this individual's case, no one ever asked him. They just assume he must take care of himself because he's healthy. People assume that all healthy people, healthy average weight people that look healthy must be healthy, and that they must be taking care of themselves. They must be doing a good job by themselves, or they wouldn't be healthy. They would be sick because it's their fault. Well, this individual has run himself like he's got the genes of a Mercedes or a Benz or something, and he has run himself living the hard life all his life, like taking the finest automobile and two-tracking through the woods with it as fast as you can go 100 miles an hour over tree stumps and everything. He's run it through the ringer, but he has good DNA. And so all this environmental exposure and all this lack of self-care hasn't really impacted him that much. And people assume, I've never heard anybody ask him about his lifestyle habits. You know, people assume he's healthy because he does right choices. That's not necessarily true at all. And people that are ill doesn't mean that they're ill because they do not do right choices. Because there are things beyond our control. I got a virus. That virus triggered an autoimmune condition that was in my genes. I didn't go looking, see how many times I can get sick, so I can play Russian roulette with myself. I took really good care of myself. I exercised daily. I did yoga daily. I walked a lot. I biked, I hiked, I kayaked, I ate really clean, took my multivitamins, always took care of myself. As the best of my abilities, watched all the podcasts, learned all the stuff that I could learn about health, and did the best that I could possibly do for myself. Weight training a couple times a week, balancing my macros and my micros, and think about my microbiome and all of that stuff. And I caught a virus. And my DNA was loaded for rheumatoid arthritis, and that was just the thing that tipped the trigger for me, outside my control, regardless of taking incredible care of myself. It was not my choice. And I've been sick before and gotten fine. So has everyone else. We never know which one's gonna trip that trigger because we're all so unique. But all of the stuff, the basic self-care stuff that's presumed on sick people, that they're just not trying hard enough, or they got sick to begin with because they didn't take care of themselves. They brought it on themselves, is an absolute fallacy, and it needs to be quashed because it's not the truth. And the assumption that they stopped doing that when they got sick, if they were already taking good care of themselves, not like the other people that just happen to be healthy, regardless of what they're doing to themselves, that is, they lead a completely unhealthy lifestyle, no exercise, no fruits and vegetables, no water, and chain smoking and chain drinking and living on fast food and no exercise, and they are fit as a fiddle so far, well into old age, and it's good genes. Our DNA is neat little packages. Neat little packages like wrapped candy, wrapped hard candy with the little twists at the end. And it comes bundled. A sequence of coding that comes bundled. And it takes various things. This is epigenetics here. It takes various things to unlock various parts of the code on your DNA. And if you happen upon those specific right triggers, it will unbundle, and then the information is available. And sometimes that information is a bullet, is a chronic illness. And so it just needs to, that whole fallacy that healthy people must be taking care of themselves, not true. And that unhealthy people must not be taking care of themselves, not true. If someone led a healthy lifestyle, what's the last time they're going to stop leading a healthy lifestyle? When they get sick, that's when they're going to not care about their health. People that never led a healthy lifestyle start doing all sorts of crazy things they've never done before when they get sick, to try and get well. They learn all about health. People don't suddenly become stupid when they get sick. Just a fact. Basic common sense self-care. Eat, move, eat well, move. Your health is your own responsibility. All of those things are basic understandings that, just because you get a chronic illness, you don't become stupid. They don't forget that. I forgot where I started with my hammock, I guess, but it's been a way for me to come outside and start reaping some of those benefits that I used to get in the mornings religiously as part of my healthy lifestyle. When I'm too sick to walk or stand or barely stay awake. And it has there's no weight bearing. There's no, it's like a zero gravity chair almost, because being in the hammock, there's no pressure on my joints, and I can rock myself, which is really, really, really nice. But yeah, I'm just gonna stop there, and hopefully I destigmatized a few things for you. Just think of it this way, that when it comes to your health, genetics are not your destiny. Epigenetics are your destiny. You can have bullets for a whole lot of things, or bullets for just a few. Some people are heavily bulleted. I am heavily bulleted. People in my family aren't like this guy's family. People in my family by the age of 50 are usually incapacitedly ill, in wheelchairs on oxygen. Some starting to lose their mind. They don't usually make it to 60. That's been my family history. A lot of heart problems, just a lot of problems in my family. And old people don't get very old in my family, and they get infirm very young, 40s and 50s, all across my family. So those are my genes. There's a lot in my gun is heavily loaded, it's fully loaded. And so it takes a lot less triggers, exposures, toxins, stresses, etc. in my environment exposure to tip me over that edge. And epigenetics and understanding the microbiome and all of this is such new science that they understand the what, they don't understand the how. It's not a clear enough association yet to figure out what exact triggers cause what exact outcomes. You know, they do twin studies and they change a thing, you know, same household, same environment, same exposure, same region, same diet, and they will change a thing and they will observe what happens to try to figure out epigenetics. But it's so much more complicated than they ever thought. When they sequenced their genome, they thought were going to be able to figure all of your health problems out. Little did they know, it's so much more complex than that. And it always is. So if you can, get yourself a hammock. It's a wonderful chronic illness aid. And just a life aid in general. Don't judge or assume about healthy looking people that they take care of. I'm glad that didn't hurt themselves. I knew that was going to happen sometime. Didn't know I was going to catch it on camera. Or that they are healthy. They might be ill. And don't assume because someone takes care of themselves, they're not going to get ill. And don't assume that people that are ill don't take care of themselves. Just don't assume. We know what happens when we assume, right? We make an ass out of you and me. And I just made an ass out of myself. But so I just wanted to put something up since I just woke up. I needed something to do to kind of get the brain going again. But this is wonderful. That I can actually manage to incorporate some of those good healthy habits back into my life while I am sick, because I can just lay without any pain on my joints, without any anti-gravity issues with orthostatic intolerance. It's just, it's lovely to have a hammock. It's lovely to have a place to go outdoors first thing in the morning when I'm really sick and reap all those natural benefits. But healthy people, don't blame sick people for being ill. Think about how well you take care of yourself. How much luck and genetics is on your side. Versus that you're earning your health. We're adults. We know how to care for ourselves. Just because we got sick didn't mean we got stupid. And so that we should try harder to heal. Have you ever really had a shitty flu? How long do you want to hang out there? It's totally fun, right? Of course we're trying to heal. Get yourself a hammock, screw it into the tree, better than I did, and reap the rewards of the morning outside when you're in pain, because there's no pressure points in the hammock, orthostatic intolerance issues, when you're syncope-y, when you're fainty, when you're dizzy, when you don't have the energy to move a lot. It's invigorating when you're still foggy brain fog and everything else, without having to do much. When you feel like you can barely move and you should go back to bed, go outside and lay in a hammock. It's my health advice for this morning, along with a big ramble. And lesson learned, I should double check the before I get in to the hammock. Well, love ya. Happy day, oh happy day. Have a good day. It's a good life, regardless of what you're dealing with. Feeling shitty and full of strife. Remember that when times get rough. Which is like always. Keep fighting on. Heart you. All eyes, tongue out. Peace.